everybody. Welcome to another absolutely professional Gooner Gathering stream. Look, it's working. That's an upgrade on yesterday. Probably because I'm joined by the poshest man in sports entertainment today, Posh Bertie. How are you? In unfamiliar circumstances. Where are you, sir?
It seems that without me, everything fails.
Yes.
So I don't know what to say about that. Yes. Good
That's
afternoon.
why you're my right-hand man, my boy.
Or as we say in Somerset, all right, my lovers. Hello, I am cricketing today. I am live from Taunton, so I'm in a hotel room in a different location. Yes, Gooner Gathering is going on tour, as you can see here.
Fabulous, fabulous. Also joining us today is the very talented, very knowledgeable Matt Roberts. How are you down there? You okay?
I'll be okay if the technology decided to be my friend today. There was a little bit of issues, so that's kind of one of the reasons why we didn't start on time. So I do apologise for that.
And as we all know, we never have technical issues on Gooner Gathering, so it's a rarity.
Issues, what are they? Eh?
but you know, this is all part of the charm, right? We keep it real on this channel, and basically we have a laugh about the whole thing at the end of the day. So I suppose my opening question would be to Posh Bertie. Bear in mind that he's at Taunton right now. How did the cricket go, son?
Oh, right. Now that you've reminded me, I need to find a picture to put in the back end. Yeah.
Live admin, boys and girls.
I know.
You love to see it.
You love it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We know each other so well. We finish each other's sandwiches. Hello, Luca.
As I was saying, the cricket went well yesterday because it was nice and sunny, and everyone else was saying, "Oh, it's chucking it down." Well, today the rain arrived, and we didn't see much. We only saw some in the morning,
right.
So not much cricket being seen today. But that's all right because yesterday was very good.
So this was Kent against Somerset, right?
No, it was Somerset against Surrey.
Somerset against Curry. Sorry, right, okay. Sorry. How many Coca-Colas have I had?
And because my dad's a member, we get access to the lovely hospitality room, and I had a lovely carvery. They do a mean carvery at Taunton, at Somerset's cricket ground. I'll tell you that for a fact.
And what was the main course? What meat did you have for your carvery?
It was a choice between beef or pork, and I had pork because I almost died from eating beef back in 2011 from choking on it. That's a story for another stream. That's a story for another day.
So you have some beef with some beef, right?
Of course I do. More beef than Vince McMahon when he sees all these wrestlers around him. There's a lot of beef out here.
Okay, absolutely. But moving on, Matt, how's your day been? Apart from your technology issues, what have you been up to?
Just trying to watch as much of the World Cup as possible. It's been fantastic. If you haven't seen it, there's been a lot of on and off the field issues that we've been trying to cover as well over at Vic Akers Wonderland, which we've managed to do through the fallout. But there's other things apart from trying to apply for jobs and things like that. I'm just trying to enjoy it, but unfortunately the weather's turned and it has started chucking it down. So very much run and hide at the moment.
Very much British weather. God darn it. Posh Bertie had a hand up.
And also, before we actually talk about football, which is what we're meant to do, one more thing happened in the cricket. This! Jamie Overton, former Somerset player, now playing for Surrey, hit a six so hard, smashed the window. Thank God this was double glazing. Thank God it's meant to be shatterproof because that hole is actually one of the glazes in the window, and so thank God it could have been so much worse. And there were people eating their food on these tables.
Goodness me.
Bit of.
Can you imagine the carnage? this is the sort of glass that should have given Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle back at King of the Ring.
This is like this is the real life equivalent of Steve Austin glass shattering. I mean,
Poor Matt
so,
will feel
yeah.
so lost. I'm sorry, Matt.
You know
bit
what?
of a, bit of a shock today, but everyone's fine. Everything was, if anything, it was quite entertaining. But yeah, it was all fine.
I did ask if you caught it or got the ball in the end, but you never responded. So I take it that someone nabbed.
Oh, I must have been no, because it hit the window. It didn't go through the window. Thank God for that. But it
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we've been going for about 6 minutes without covering any sort of football whatsoever. So it's almost like
best.
Do you know what? It's right up there. Usually
it's about an hour until we get into the football coverage.
I mean, this sort of mirrors our good friend Adam Pacitti, doesn't it, really? But anyway, let's get into it. Matt, I want to bring you into this first because I think it's been a little while since the England's women, the Lionesses, if you will, kicked off our World Cup campaign. And it's fair to say it was certainly from my viewing point and from the bit that I saw and maybe the bit that I shouldn't have seen, but I have done. Don't tell anyone at work, eh? That it was a very, very tricky game to kick us off with. England versus Haiti. First of all, what were your thoughts about the starting 11 for the game?
Now, when you talk about that starting 11, this has been the issue at the moment, essentially with Leah Williamson, Beth Mead, and there's obviously been Jill Scott, who's out there with the Lionesses at the moment, and Ellen White, no Fran Kirby either because of the injuries or retirements, shall we say, for Ellen White and Jill Scott's case. So it's always been who's going to be able to fill in the gaps. Serena's always gone with a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, whichever way you want to look at it. It's very much they can convert whichever way they like. The main problems around this area was who's going to partner Millie Bright. Millie Bright is also coming back from an injury as well. So how is Millie Bright going to play, considering she is also captain? There was questions of whether it would be Jess Carter, who's playing for Chelsea, who's very versatile. She can pretty much play anywhere along that. It's like Alex Greenwood. Alex Greenwood can play on the left or as a centre-back. At Man City, she's been playing mainly as the centre-back, not much of a left-back. But to see Alex Greenwood on the left and then Jess Carter as a centre-back, it didn't fill me with confidence. The midfield, it always builds itself at the moment. The only question is around whether or not you have Ella Toone in or someone else in. A lot of calls at the moment for Chelsea's Lauren James. But I have no problem with Ella Toone at the moment because she does do what she does best, which is assist and play really well in that final third. It's just a bit unfortunate, really, that it took two bites of the cherry, if you want. There was a penalty appeal that was turned down. The VAR in the end decided to give it as a foul from Alessia Russo. Alessia Russo, now of Arsenal, getting a yellow card in that game. A bit unfortunate with that, if I'm honest, because it's a 50-50 ball, and I don't think if it's a foul, then fair enough, but you don't need to give a card for that. Nope.
On that point, on that first penalty, now, it looked very much... There's a couple of things I want to talk about here, and one of which maybe Bertie might be able to insert himself into a little bit as well. So I thought the idea of having the referee mic'd up was really, really good. And it was made it a little bit easier to understand what was going on. So we had the play go on, and it was a bit of a messy incident in the penalty area. And yeah, after looking back on the replay, I did see. You're going to have to help me and remind me who was actually, because I remember seeing Russo getting or committing the foul, but there was so after that there was an England player got got pulled down, why it was getting looked at. You're going to have to remind me who that was, Matt.
Yeah, I believe it was Lauren Hemp that was being pulled down in the box.
Thank you. So the Manchester City winger was brought down. That's why it went to VAR. And after a good few minutes, the referee blew the whistle, done the old VAR sign, and then she would, because she was all mic'd up, we could hear what was going on. She says, "My decision is no penalty because a foul from number 23, Arsenal's Russo, of course." I thought, now correct me if I'm wrong, was the yellow card shown to the defender who committed the foul on Hemp? That's how it looked like to me.
I had to unfortunately I was going to my sisters at the time, so I had to listen to this on the radio, and the way they described it is there wasn't a foul on it, but that actual foul itself was actually very dangerous and could have been quite easily a red, or even questionable of a red card itself. I don't think that they actually, no, I think she got a card for it. I think I'm trying to remember the game, but I don't think she did. And there was questions at the time whether or not it should have been worthy of a card at some point, because it is a dangerous tackle.
Yeah.
But you've hit something on the head. A lot of this talk of the tournament before has been on the referees being mic'd up and being actually saying, "This is the VAR decision. I've gone straight to the monitor, and the decision has been it's a penalty," as we saw in like the first game of the tournament in the Australian playing Northern Republic of Ireland. Sorry, I'm going to get my head bashed in by Kate McCabe at some point.
I wouldn't want to be on the end of that. I can tell you that, mate.
Even in New Zealand's opening game as well, the fact that they had a VAR decision, it was such a huge historical thing, because it means that essentially, this, even though it's used as a trial period, it could be used in the leagues from next season. So say in the Premier League, Arsenal have a VAR decision against Tottenham, for example. Say, I don't know whether or not he's going to be there or not. Say Son goes down in the penalty area, and they turn around and say to him, "Right, you have to go to the screen, you have to look at it again," and then the referee will have to be mic'd up. It's going to be, right, VAR decision. It's not a penalty. Arsenal number 4 clearly wins the ball. Simple as that. That's the explanation. And then he might say corner, or he might go goal kick. It's simple as that. It clarifies a lot of the areas that have been used, but it's up to the leagues now whether or not they decide to carry it on. FIFA might decide that it still needs some test runs, so they might run it for a few more tournaments, but the technology is there, so that's great to see. But in this situation, it is a bit of an odd one, but you can sort of understand it because it's a foul before the previous foul. So but again, it's one of those things that you have to be careful with, but you understand the situation once it's been explained. Absolutely.
So just want to make sure Posh Bertie can see my in private chat, please. Thank you very much. So Matt, I'll go to you. So we had the early VAR incident, and then England got themselves a penalty, which in itself had a bit of added drama to it as well. Would you like to describe how England got the penalty and why it was retaken? Thank you, Posh Bertie.
So originally there was I believe it was cross into the box. One of the Haiti players has, unfortunately, she's just jumped for it and her hands just touched the ball. VAR has turned around and said that's a penalty, and she's okay. VAR decision, penalty. Georgia Stanway does what she has done so well. If you knew her, she loves a bit of a penalty because she can just smash it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that first penalty was saved, but the goalkeeper was off their line. This is the issue I have as a goalkeeper. When you're going to save, you're always going to come off your line. but the goalkeeper actually physically was like jumping over before stepping to make that save. It was a fantastic save.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a ridiculous rule at the moment, but it had to be retaken, and fair enough.
Yeah.
This
was the moment before she went and took the penalty, before Georgia Stanway put it away. I thought to myself, oh, I might be able to put the live coverage up on my phone or go around and carry on doing my day job. And literally, about 1 second later, this happened. Go ahead.
So then VAR just said, look, the problem is that the goalkeeper's come off the line. Yeah. It's a retake, and so that's what's happened. She's gone to retake it. She went to go and put it in the same spot that she went last time, but this time she made sure she hit it right in the bottom corner, so she had no chance of saving it. And
great fan, wasn't it?
Goal. The only problem is now for England is they face Denmark on Saturday at 9:30. Tougher opponent. It also means England have now not scored outside of a set piece since Ella Toone has scored that in that finalisma final against Brazil. So that's 4 games, or 4 or 5 games you're talking about without scoring an open goal, which is a bit of a concern. Denmark won their game very late against China. So we've got 2 tough oppositions, and to get 3 points on the board was great, but the way it was done, I think it was very much an uphill battle, but we did really well, and fair play to Haiti as well. It's their first World Cup, and they did themselves really well to only get the score down to 1-0. Marriott was fantastic throughout. She called upon when needed to, and making fantastic saves left, right, and centre. And it's not very often that I do praise United players, but when I do, it's deserved. So fair play to Marriott.
I think what you're referring to, you preempted my my next question. Really, was that had Marriott's not been as a quality goalkeeper as she is. Thank you for the like on the stream, by the way. Whoever done that, thank you very much. And make sure everyone is liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you very much. Very near on 200, by the way, boys. It's exciting stuff. If it wasn't for Marriott's crucial save right at the end, that if it ended up as a draw, that would have been an absolute disaster, wouldn't it? Especially onto confidence and how they would have taken that following that uphill struggle. And it was a struggle, wasn't it? From what I saw, I think struggling to get into a rhythm. I don't know if the heat might have had something to play with it, or whatever it was. It seemed to me like England's rhythm that they had very much in the Euros wasn't there for me when I saw what I've seen of that Saturday fixture.
Yes, and that's one of the problems is essentially it's a new defence at times, because essentially, 2/3 of that defence is carried on from the Euros. One of them is just coming in, even though she got no game time at the Euros. She has had some minutes, but at the same time, it's other players stepping up when needed to. Alessia Russo as well and Ella Toone both now becoming starters. It's not sort of helped them, because for club they have been playing the full 90 minutes, but for England they haven't really been doing it for that long. So it caused a bit of concern. It's almost like they don't really know how to play from the word go. They're used to going on from that 60th minute. What I thought was a brave substitution was taking off Lauren Hemp for Lauren James, and then bringing on Rachel Daly for Alessia Russo. There were question marks about who was going to start, Alessia Russo or Rachel Daly. I think there's still questions about whether or not they're up there ready just yet.
Great options to have, in all fairness.
Yeah, and the other option as well is Beth England, who's done fairly well. She's pretty much been on fire since she left Chelsea to go to Tottenham to try and get as much minutes as possible, help them stay in the WSL as well. It has. She seems to have been left out quite a lot, whether it's been through jet lag, has been reported, or she hasn't really had a look in. Bit similar to lots of Vuba Moy, who hasn't really had any chances. She was picked for the Euros, yet Jess Carter has been picked ahead of her.
Yeah.
They were looking at players to be more like Leah, and we've got already got a perfect Leah replacement in Lotta, but she's not using them, which is a bit of an oddity.
But then that is the first game of the tournament, and knowing how tournament football goes, I'm sure she'll have a part to play as we carry on. I think we've pretty much covered where we need to be in terms of England. I'm not going to want to go through the whole of the tournament itself, really, because I want to sort of keep it kind of on brand and talking about the Arsenal players if we can. I do want to go to Posh Bertie just for a minute, because I know Posh would have seen Katie McCabe's goal for the Republic of Ireland today. She scored the opening. Unfortunately, the Republic of Ireland are out of the tournament as a result of them losing 2-1 to Canada. How much did you see of this, Posh? Did you see Katie McCabe's goal, for example?
I did, and that was it, because I was very busy today. I'm doing other things, as you can see. So no, I didn't get to see it. Obviously, I know Katie McCabe. She scored a lovely goal. She's Irish. She plays for Arsenal. That's what I know. I do know some of the players. I know some of the Arsenal players as well. But yeah,
glad I asked this question.
Congratulations to her and to Ireland, I guess. Yeah. And come on, England. There you go.
Thank you very much. So, okay, Matt. So you can help guide us through a little bit. Would you care to talk about McCabe's corner kick and how it managed to catch the Canadian defenders out? And because you're going to have to inform me on how the Canadians managed to win 2-1, because I haven't seen it yet.
I think this one was one where funny enough, it was chucking it down as well. So I think that had a little bit of to play a part on it. It might have been a little bit windy, because if you have seen the goal that Steph Catley scored against Leicester, it was directly from a corner, and essentially it was a like-for-like goal. And Katie McCabe, she's a set-piece specialist, captain of Ireland. She was captain for Arsenal as well for a while towards the end of the season, because all of our players, unfortunately, that had the captain's armband ended up getting injured or were unable to take the captaincy. Kate McCabe's been one of the people that have been stepping up, taking the captaincy for a while. And I just felt if Ireland ever scored a goal, it was going to be Katie McCabe. And essentially what happened was Ireland got the corner. Katie whips the corner in, and she's put a spin into it. And as Sheridan's gone to push it out, the ball all of a sudden just spun past her hand, and it's gone straight into the back of the net. And it was a fantastic goal. It's going to be up there for goal of the tournament. But there was another Arsenal player in this match, Chloe Lacasse, now of Arsenal. She played phenomenally well. She was very unfortunate to not get on the score sheet herself now, but that's the second time now where she could have quite easily got on the score sheet in 2 games, but unfortunately she hasn't. Canada then equalised towards the end of the half. Cross comes in, and unfortunately one of the Irish defenders just deflects it, and it goes in to the back of the net, and it goes level 2-1. And it was almost a similar story for Canada's second goal. It was but this time Adriana Leone of Man United. I don't know for how much longer, because they seem to be getting rid of a lot of their players at the moment. It will be just essentially the ball ends up in the back of the net for Angela Leone, and 2-1 Canada, and Ireland just tried to throw the kitchen sink like they did last time, and unfortunately, once again, it didn't work. But it's huge for Ireland to get their first goal. It's been 33 years since Ireland first scored their first ever World Cup goal for the men, and it's huge. But unfortunately, Ireland haven't got points, but they've got the Philippines next to play. So there's an opportunity for them to get 3 points and at the same time upset the Philippines and make sure that they don't qualify for the next round as well.
Absolutely. And big up to the Philippines. That's where my mother-in-law's from. So there you go. So before we carry on with anything else, I know there's a few other Arsenal players involved in competition, and particular, perhaps Matt, maybe your favourite. Hello, mate. It's nice to see you there. Had a lovely chat with Josh earlier on today. It's good to see you in the chat, mate. Thank you. So perhaps Matt's favourite, Leah Walty. I'm going to say perhaps your favourite. I know darn well it is. So Switzerland involved in a 0-0 draw yesterday, mate. Is there much you want to add on the draw with Norway from yesterday?
Well, it's just giving them an opportunity to qualify. We should also mention that Noel Moritz and Frida Lindhardsson Mornum were also involved in that one. Lindhardsson Mornum for Norway. There's a lot of anger towards the way Norway are acting at the moment. The best way to put it is that they are the men's. I think the men's. Yes, I did manage to watch the.
We just spoke about it.
Ireland game. It was a great game. Unfortunately, it just looks like it's not clicking between Norway. They've got these great players, but they just can't seem to do it when it really matters. So I think the men's international equivalent would probably be Portugal. Probably Portugal.
Oh, that's a good shout, mate. That's a really good shout. Yeah.
Just because they've been there, they've done it once, and then that's it. They haven't turned up for any other real big tournaments. But they have some huge names. They play the Barcelona. They play for English clubs across the. Some of them played for Man City. Some of them play for Arsenal. Some of them play at Chelsea, City, PSG. All the big teams across Europe that you'll see in the Champions League. Norway players are always there, and for whatever reason, they haven't scored a goal all tournament, and there's a real chance that they're going to miss out. Switzerland score. Don't know what happened there.
Oh, turnabout. How did that happen? Apparently, Posh is in charge now.
There we go.
Thank you, admin.
Switzerland just have an opportunity now to qualify for the knockouts. Unfortunately, they missed out in the Euros, but it's a huge step. But it could possibly mean that we've got a couple of players back in time for that Champions League clash against Linköping and pre-season as well, which would be even great to see.
Okay, cool. So let's put our thoughts just back to England just for a minute. So we have a rather big game over the weekend. Do you see England making any changes, Matt? Or do we go same again, much like we have done previously in the tournaments?
Knowing Serena, I think that she's got this she has this mindset of not changing things. I think that she's got to bear in mind that Denmark are going to be a lot tougher than Haiti were.
Yeah.
These next two are the real tests. I think that the idea would be if she changes it, it could cause even more chaos. Maybe she might makes the one decision of maybe swapping Rachel Daly being the starter and then bringing on Alessia Russo. maybe, but I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. Knowing Serena, I think she'll try and stick to as much as possible because she wants to see this start 11 grow and develop. There was a lot of issues in that Haiti game. There was a lot of problematic. A lot of it being that as soon as we lost the ball, Haiti went and countered. And there was 3 or 4 times where they could have easily scored and they didn't. So that would be something that Denmark would be more able to exploit. They have the ever annoying presence of Pernille Harder, formerly of Chelsea, now Bayern Munich. But they also have our very own Katrine Kuhl as well, who's a lovely midfielder, likes to play in the centre, and she's only 19, but in the opening game against China, she was a bit all over the place with her passing. She couldn't seem to do the simple things, and she looked a little bit lost, and it was a real shame. But this sort of game, I think, because she'll know more of the players, I think she'll come into our stride a little bit more. But I imagine it's going to be a very end-to-end game, if I'm honest.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, let's move away from the Ladies World Cup for a little bit, and I'll bring in Posh Bercy to tell me all about the breaking news about Kylian Mbappe and the whole situation of Saudi Arabia versus Paris Saint-Germain versus blimmin' crazy transfer money, blimmin' what is going on, Posh? Can you tell me the latest, please?
Well, apparently Mbappe would according to Sky Sports, is not interested in joining Al Hilal. I think that's what they're called, for £300 million £300 million transfer in euros, about £250,000. That's what it's equivalent to, I think. I mean, well, it clearly means he's going to Arsenal next, surely.
Well, that was exactly where I was going to go, to be honest, because I heard they could do a big swap deal. Maybe Havertz, maybe do exactly what Clive Allen done back in the day, not actually play for Arsenal in the first team, and maybe swap them out.
Well, as far as I'm aware, Kai Havertz hasn't played for Arsenal. I haven't seen him on the pitch at all. So he clearly, he did score that one goal. Okay, that's. But against Man United,
we're doing a bit before my brother gets on me. We're doing a bit. I'm getting grief from Nick.
Excellent. But
he can't wait to have a debate with you, my friend.
I can't wait either. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be the Saturday Sunday, I think.
I am. As far as at time, I mean, it all could change, but at time of recording, I'm glad that he's not going to. He's not going to that kind of club. I just think this. I know you go. It's a good amount of money, and you'd all taken care of. It's all brilliant, but I don't know. There's something about the Saudi Arabia clubs buying all the players they can. Just thinking, bit weird, isn't it?
I mean, in fairness, it's not the first time we've seen a lot of money involved in Saudi Arabia business, is it, Posh? Do it.
Oh, no, it hasn't, Pet.
Well, not just that over in Newcastle, of course, but in terms of the wider scale of things that we might actually follow as well.
No. Oh, yes.
The inclusive city of Jedi and WWE getting involved with Crown Jewel.
WWE, a great night of wrestling in a vibrant, progressive country.
That's what it's all about.
Crown Jewel, baby. Right.
Absolutely. But
can we move on, please?
I will do. I'm going to do a fun little comparison. So we've got Lionel Messi is currently tearing it up in the MLS. Who'd have thought it? And at his stage of his career, and he's had a wonderful career. Let's not beat about the bush on that one. but let's consider he's part of where he is in his life, if you like, right? So he's living the dream up in the States. He's actually, you know, the MLS is one of them. You've seen the fans over on the tour where Arsenal are currently.
Yeah.
You saw the passionate fans up in the stadium with the MLS All-Stars game, with the United game we spoke about the other day.
Less said about the fans at United and their fisticuffs, the better. But MLS All-Stars, I'll refer you that too.
But the reason why Messi's there is to very much get people involved with the MLS, much like when the Lionesses and the England, the ladies international side brought a lot of publicity to the ladies game when they had the Euros, right? Now, we talk about Kylian Mbappe, who's a guy who's very much in his prime of his career. Why? Apart from just the millions and millions of dollars, would he want to go and play over there in Saudi Arabia, where he could literally, you know, go into your own side over there in Kent, Posh? You know what I'm saying, guys. You know what I'm saying. He could be in Champions League or whatever. You know what I'm saying.
It looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Going from all these clubs like PSG, Real Madrid, and then to a club that, let's be honest, no one knows about in Saudi Arabia. You know, but to be honest, he will obviously be the big player there, because I had a look at the Al Hilal team, and the only noticeable player there is Ruben Neves.
Formerly of Wolves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Just about. Fair enough. Matt, have you got anything?
I honestly don't have much to say on this because
okay.
I don't.
Just have a look. Okay, Matt.
Yeah,
the floor is yours, mate.
You do look at this, and it almost feels like the Saudis have turned around and realised how much oil they've got left and what money they've got, and it's almost like, what can they do with that money that they can find other incomes come the future, because they're not going to have all this money left. So they look at everything that they could do, and they've realised that football would help them grow. The one problem has been that essentially they're buying these players, the Benzema, the Ronaldos, the Jordan Hendersons, God forgive. I think every Liverpool fan's happy about that, and me exclusively, left, right, and Mr. I'd rather play it set backwards or sideways for England. Hopefully that means he's not going to be picked for England anytime soon as well. But enough about my bias against Jordan Henderson.
Matt shoots on Jordan Henderson coming to a short near you.
But you look at
you've tickled me there, my friend.
You look at the Saudi Elite League. They're looking to bring in these megastars, and it's almost like. Whereas I look at the MLS, and the MLS is almost. I don't want to call it a retirement home, but you look at the players that have gone there: Del Piero, Gerrard, Beckham. Even though Beckham decided to go back to PSG and ended up his career at PSG and Milan. There's Ashley Cole, we even had a spell there. It just the MLS, it suits the older players because they've got the experience. It's almost like they could go there, they could do their coaching qualifications, and they can get away from the spotlight. And it's one of the reasons why Messi had a house already in Miami anyway, so it wasn't like he had to move somewhere else. He felt confident enough that he was going to be close enough to home in Argentina, but also he was basically home away from home, even though his home is Barcelona, what a lot of people feel. It doesn't close the door on him going back to Barcelona, say, till February in the Champions League, if you think about it as well, because similar to what Thierry Henry did for us, if you remember that back.
I remember I was there, mate.
I was so jealous of everyone that went to that Leeds game because I really wanted to go and see him play
I was right in front of it.
Oh,
I literally.
very
So
jealous.
Miguel took that throw on. I was literally in Miguel's eye line.
I honestly,
One of my absolute highlights.
I found out this news when I woke up that morning. My dad woke me up just simply saying, not "Good morning, son. How are you?" It's just, you won't believe who scored Arsenal's only goal to win the game. And I said, "Who?" And he went, "Thierry Henry." And I was like, "Huh?"
I
So,
don't
yeah,
mind telling you,
that's
Posh.
how I know about that game.
I don't mind telling you both, and anyone who's watching this now or later on, there was not a dry eye at the Emirates Stadium that night. And it was one of the most emotional, unbelievable scenes. You could see, I could see it happening right in front of my eye. I saw Miguel take the throw on. I saw it go to Song. I saw Thierry's run. And I thought, oh my God, it's like going into blimmin' Doctor Who, and you're going back in time, and you can see exactly what he was going to do. It was just brilliant. Oh, I can tell you. I know I've gone totally off on the tangent there, but
watching it back, you can run it. Peter Drury's commentary on it, it just makes it even more iconic as well. And it's very classic Peter Drury, but it's also the fact that you could very much almost like it was almost written in stars. As soon as Arsenal got leads, and Arsenal ended up getting that replay at the Emirates, as soon as we signed Thierry Henry, we knew Thierry Henry was going to score. What we did, I don't think what we didn't expect was him to score so many goals as he did on his comeback.
Good spell.
It was 4 in 5 games in the end, which was huge. And towards the end of that campaign, if you look back on it, because that was the difference between Champions League football and Europa League football at the time. But just to go back on the MLS is best suited for players who feel that they kind of want to retire, but they can retire at their own pace. I believe Steven Gerrard took 2 years. Thierry Henry had 3 or 4 years. Del Piero, I believe, was there for about 4 years as well.
Yeah.
Even Andrea
He
Pirlo
could probably lace up a pair of boots now. To be fair, Del Piero was so good.
I think
different gravy. When I watched Italian football back in the day, I loved watching Del Piero. That's probably for another day, but yeah,
that's what I see the difference between the MLS and the Saudi League. Seems to be very much similar to the Chinese Super League, where they're just sort of trying to throw as much money into it, but they're probably doing it as structured as possible. Whereas I see the MLS as they're trying to grow the game with superstars or older legends of the game, and they can do it at their own pace, and it kind of helps them a little bit as well. It helps them grow and develop at their own pace as well with the league.
Okay, well, let's move away from all that, and sort of we'll finish up tonight in a little bit of a, I don't know how I'm gonna just describe this yet. So we played Barcelona tonight in the last game of the US tour. Now, presumably, Posh, you'll be wanting Havertz to play this one again.
Oh yes, absolutely. Havertz, Fabio Vieira, and El Neni in midfield.
Yep.
Nketiah up front.
Yep.
Rob Holding in defence. Karl Hein in goal. Tavares at right back. I mean, I could go on, but
right. I'm going to play my role now. I'm going to do my Gorilla Monsoon now. Will you stop? So, in all seriousness, chaps, before we lose everybody who might be watching, so it's an interesting game. I led with the fact that against United, I thought it was very much a makeshift kind of 11, very much designed to give certain players like Tomiyasu a bit of a run out. It was very much designed for Timber to get a good run out. Also, people that wanted or needed to get some game time in terms of Saliba, who I don't think will play tonight. Oh, yeah, it is tonight, isn't it? It's like early hours of tomorrow morning. because I want to think that they'll want to gradually, slowly bring him back and just be a tad careful with him. That's certainly what I would do. It's just my thoughts. So after Posh has done his bit, Matt, how do you think Arsenal will go into the game against Barcelona tonight? Then we'll talk about Barcelona in themselves a little bit if we can.
You'd imagine that both teams would almost treat this as like a Champions League, pre-Champions League, if you know where I'm coming from. Essentially, Arsenal need to understand where whoever's going to be in that pot one. It could be Barcelona, it might not be, but they need to be prepared for whoever they're going to be thrown at. And the fact that they've chosen Barcelona is a good indicator, because this Barcelona team is in transition. It's not the early 2000s, early 2010 Barcelona that used to rule Champions League football. But at the same time, they are trying to get back to that. And you see it do that with Arsenal coming back into the first Champions League game. You look back at that squad, apart from Kai Havertz, Jorginho and Gabriel Jesus, none of them. No, Kieran Tierney. Sorry, I think that's it. All them have the Champions League experience, none of the others do, which is kind of worrying. So I would use this as to say, almost right. This is group game. Not the Camp Nou, because the Camp Nou is unfortunately being demolished. But
I heard this. I was literally like, huh?
When I read first San Siro, now Camp Nou.
I think it's going to be the Johan Cruyff Arena, which is the Academy Stadium. It's also the women's stadium as well. Just say it's there. Imagine it's a group game, opening night, Arsenal versus Barcelona, and it's almost like you're watching it back, and you imagine that would be the scenario that I would be pulling if I was Mikel Arteta. You go with your strongest team. Doesn't matter whether or not they're available, or the strongest 11 if they're available, and just try and make sure you try and get something out of it, because the fact that you lost 2-0 and then lose 3-0 on a penalty shootout as well to Man United.
It wasn't 3-0.
It wasn't 3-0. 3-0 on penalties.
It wasn't 3-0 on penalties.
Was it 2-0 on penalties? I didn't watch it.
I'm sure Arsenal scored 3 at least. So, but anyway, we lost.
To be honest, I mean, if I wasn't doing this, I probably wouldn't know the result of our friendly games. To be honest, so
yeah, not gonna lie, I didn't really watch it. So you just try and treat it like the other thing as well is that the United game, you might as well treat it as a Community Shield game, because if you think back to it as well,
it's not looking good for next Sunday then.
If next Sunday Arsenal do end up playing, do draw Man City, you go straight to penalties and go
take one. That's all I'm saying. Give me back the old Paddy Vieira. That's what I want. But all right. So look, if I throw it to Posh, would you like to give your serious guess into what we might go with? Any players that I personally would like to see Kieran Tierney get a start for one.
Yes. There was a recent interview, can I say, with Kieran Tierney, I think he said something along the lines of, "I am learning how to play the inverted left back. It's all news to me." He does not play like that. He's a traditional left back. For God's sake. Anyway, yes, I'd like
1992 for Christ's sake.
It is going to be. We will get a lot of first-team players, plus the odd rotational option here, quite similar to the Man United game. I would like to see maybe Balogun up front starting, just to see what that would be like. It is a friendly, let's not forget. I mean, it's not the be-all and end-all of the world, but it would be nice to see, some of the players that we've not seen much of. Well, the players, I don't know. I'd like, if not Jesus up front, maybe. Basically, anyone but Nketiah at this rate. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of first teamers plus the odd rotational option.
Yeah. What about Xavi doing his rebuilding work at Barcelona? There's a lot of stuff they're changing in that Barcelona camp. Very much feels that I can see a few comparisons.
Well, they actually managed to win the league, so.
Okay. All right then. But what I was going to say before was so rudely interrupted was the likes of Sergio Busquets and the likes of Jorge Alba leaving to join into Miami. And it feels like, much like when Arteta came in to join Arsenal and things were moving along, it feels like a lot of changing of the guard here with a few new signings that are quite familiar to us. Yeah. For example, Gundogan, who's just come off skippering from Manchester City last season to pick up all them trophies, a greedy so-and-so. And of course,
we seem to be shooting on various midfielders, aren't we?
Does seem like that. I've got to say, it's a shame with Gundogan. I would have quite liked him down at Arsenal, actually. But
yeah,
especially, class personified. You can't teach that. That's for certain. Another one, maybe a little bit of a surprise to. It was certainly to me when I seen it, seeing Oriol Romero joining up at Barcelona, formerly of Southampton. Thoughts on that one?
And Chelsea.
Yeah.
Not
so much of a memory with him in the blue shirt, but
no, but he was formerly a Barcelona academy player, and Chelsea signed him in 2012. I think he only played a couple of League Cup games, and that was it. Right. But yeah, it's certainly a surprise signing. He didn't do much. He started more at Southampton, but didn't do much there. I don't think. I don't know. I'm not a Southampton fan. I don't pay much attention to.
You're going to argue with Xavi,
This is where I can come in and say a little bit.
Thank you, Matt.
Romeo, because he was the key player for them when he joined. He was given almost like this free opportunity to let himself grow and develop into that defensive midfielder. He was essentially the. I would kind of sort of say the Xhaka occasionally will get the yellow cards, not so much the red cards, but it was controlled aggression. He was able to play a ball out quite easily. He was a leader within that squad. Let's not forget Southampton got to semi-finals in his time there. FA Cup semi-finals. He got to a League Cup final, which I did end up going to, and still I'm annoyed at the fact that Ibrahimovic somehow managed to win the game, considering that Mano Gabardini, there's the name for the past for you.
Gabardini, oh my God, where did you get that name from?
I'll always remember his chant, because his chant was fantastic as well. But yeah, he wasn't offside for that first goal, and for some reason getting Bertrand and Gabardini, an Italian and a mixed ethnic Englishman between the linesmen. Don't know what happened, but anyway, let's not go into refereeing decisions. But yeah, Oromeo was a huge stay. And when he was going to leave, he ended up going back to Spain. I think it was Girona who was at, and now he's gone back to Barcelona. So it's almost like a farewell tour for himself. The fact that he's gone back to Barcelona as well, I think that seems almost like he's got not down to reputation, but he's got there through his own sort of ways, if you know what I mean. But it'll be. I'm interested to see what happens, see how he does in that midfield, because again, he doesn't really have that Champions League experience compared to a Gundogan or a Gavi or Pedri or anyone else in that midfield at Barcelona.
Watch out. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we shall see how it plays out. I'm certainly going to be absolutely passed out by the time this game kicks off, and I'm pretty certain that my colleagues at Gooner Gathering aren't really going to be up for a watch along at about 3 o'clock in the morning. But we will certainly have a look and see if we can cover it at some stage over the weekend. So I think that will just about wrap up where we need to be for this evening. I do want to make sure I give Posh Bertie the stage, because I'm going to give you a solo camera, mate, and you can tell us what.
Set me off here.
Because I want you to tell everybody what is coming up on the channel for tomorrow. So there you go, son.
So tomorrow, when I am back home, I will be. I'm essentially stealing Lee's thunder here because this is his series. But I will be hosting Desert Island Kickabouts once again. This time with my very own father, not Gooner Gathering's founding father, my actual father, my dad, Peter Wanless, is going to be here. Is going to be on the channel, and I will be interviewing him about, what 3 football matches he would like to take on if he was stranded on a desert island, as well as a song, a movie, and because it's my dad, a cricket match. So that's going to be
nice. Fun. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for doing that. I am looking forward to seeing that, and I'm going to take a back seat from the channel for tomorrow because I need a little bit of a break. So what I'm going to say is, before we go, let's do all the social medias, and I'll try not to crack a smile as my broadcast partner knows what I'm talking about. Matt, would you like to do your social medias before I get out of here?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter with MattLR28, or it's not Twitter anymore, is it? It's called X, oddly enough, which is I wonder how long that's going to last. Or you can find me on the Vic Akers Wonderland podcast as well.
Thank you very much, and I'm very grateful and very glad you plugged your own channel with Lottie and Adam as well. They are fantastic people. Please give them a follow over there. They deserve all the support they get. So, Posh Bertie, your turn, sir.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. I'm always going to say Twitter at Posh Bertie, and Instagram at Bertie Wanless.
And through circumstances that I'm not going to talk about right now, you can find us all at Gooner Gathering, and that is it for now. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us right here on Gooner Gathering this evening. It's been a lot of fun. I'm very grateful to the 2 gentlemen that have been here with us on the stream this evening, live from Somerset, Taunton, over there. Wow. Matt, thank you very much for joining us over there. It's been a really good stream. Make sure you all tune in to Bertie's stream tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be back on the channel over the weekend to discuss Arsenal versus Barcelona, to talk about England further on in the World Cup in Australia, New Zealand. And until we see you all next time, take care of yourselves, and we shall see you soon.